Baba Booey. Are we doing it?
Ooh.
How am I coming in? Choppy as usual?
Are you choppy or am I hearing you choppy?
No, I know that the audio is going to be okay, but I know that I still haven't gotten a video camera. So
No, you're good. You're good.
I was hearing like staticky static, but I don't know if that's actually my.
Did you get it? Did you get a new hamster wheel for the camera there? Is that what's going on?
Who?
That hamster wheel to power your camera. Is that what's going on?
Let's see.
I'm powered by a potato. Thanks very much.
Nice.
Oh, hey, Cospix.
You are a potato.
Yes, you will watch. Damn it. Maniacs, welcome. Sorry it's been so long. I know you've missed us. It's a whole new month. Summer's officially over here in the Pacific Northwest, and we are Salt Tier Podcast, the very, very best and your very, very own video game podcast where your argument is...
It's definitely invalid.
What?
Thank you. We were not brought to you by Studio 2 and 2 in South Lake Union. It haven't been in a while, but I like being able to throw that. And we got the threesome gleesome. Did people say that? We're happy.
Today
Yep.
we do.
We are still, I guess, sort of. I haven't done an email yet. We're still brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA. Bless them. You know, we did drink a lot of their beer, and we will. Oh, wow, you're flickering it. Thank you.
Extreme close up.
We've been talking about that recently. Now that I'm doing more work in the marketing and advertisement kind of stuff for food and beverage, and being a B Corp certified distiller or brewery or anything that does anything on mass is not easy to do. B Corp certified is rad.
I have a random fact for any non-male viewers out there.
Drop it on us.
Adore Me lingerie brand. They are also B Corp certified.
Hey.
They randomly announced it, and they do sustainable yoga and lingerie.
First of all, that's cool. Secondly, it's 2022, Sage Bell. How dare you exclude us from the lingerie talk?
No,
How do you
I'm
not
just
know?
saying they don't have any masculine lingerie.
How do you know that I don't want to wear the feminine lingerie? How dare you assume that I don't want to wear it? Thank you.
You can.
Thank you.
I would suggest it's more made for your bits if you go over to Fenty.
Don't worry
Savage
about my
Jack's
bits.
Fenty.
Are you assuming on my bits? How dare you?
No, I'm just saying, there's more room for any size package if you go for something.
I'll be the
I
judge
can get
of that.
really into detail, but that's not what this podcast is about.
I'll be the judge of that.
We are the podcast that talks about junks in your trunk and junks in your hood also, I guess. You call it the hood? Whatever. Thanks for coming in. Thanks
Are we
for
talking about cars?
Yes.
That
We're
kind of
definitely
hood?
not talking about dongs. Eggplant emoji.
You said hood. I'm
Eggplant
just
emoji.
confused about the hood portion.
Water splash emoji. Yes.
Water splash emoji. Maniacs, before we continue, go ahead. Check out the line of Voodoo Ranger products. Hashtag live rangerously. Tell us what you think. We got all that fall stuff going out there. The pumpkin should be crawling around.
I've seen it around.
Seen it around. And before we continue with the intros, I want to make sure to say hi, like, and subscribe. Follow us so you can be cool like Hospix.net and know exactly when we're going to be on. That was probably through Twitter. That's salt_tierpod, which is the same thing on Instagram. But Facebook and YouTube and Twitch will just be Salt Tier.
Yep.
So yeah,
Salt Tier Podcast.
Salt Tier Podcast.
You might see some other stuff, but the video game one is us.
Yeah, Salt Tier Podcast for both. Yeah, there are other things that try to steal that, but we've been at this for a couple of years now, so I think it's mostly us. And we will begin with the introductions. I will start with the grown-ass man.
The grown-ass man is quite sufficient. This is the savorings of at V-Gaming and of at Midlife Comics. I cannot talk. This is going to be a long podcast.
I'm very, very proud of you. Look at this. You see this, Sage Bro? We got ways to interact with the mysterious savorings, ...
Yes. Follow me on Twitter. Those are my Twitter handles. And if you want to see some, I don't really go on there. I'm more of a lurker, but when I do troll, it's mwah. So if you want to see some very choice memes and some very choice trolling and some very choice lurking, those are the channels to go to for all your nerd related and video related things. I post links to all of our stuff we do here on Saltier, so you can follow there as well. Also follow our Saltier stuff as well. But you know, you'll also get updates and stuff regarding to the podcast there as well. Are we doing what we've been playing, or are we just moving along? Because we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, why not tell you what we've been playing? It's been a couple weeks.
Okay, yeah, it has
I'll
been
give you
2
2
weeks.
minutes, Saverings. Dot.
I'm
It won't even
be. It won't even be that long.
Says you.
I have been playing the award-winning and best-selling Square Enix's Final Fantasy 14. That game is just dope, and it just unfurls. And like the more you play, it's just more. That's just good stuff. I have been made an officer in my guild. I am now a scout. I can now add people to the guild. I can now interact with the other officers. I already played with them anyway, but now I can interact with them in an official sense. And yeah, so if you join our guild, we're on the Midgarsumer server. If you join Azure, that's our guild. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you play the game, feel free to drop me a line. And if I can't answer it, I'll put you in touch with the people that know a little bit more. But other than that, that's really all I've been playing. I'll pass it off to the dynamic hunter, the sagest of bells, the new Portland transplant, Sage Bell.
Is it really a transplant when you're from the area?
Good question.
You
That's a
I'm born in-
technicality.
It's a return to form. How about
Yes,
that?
yes. There
Return
you
to
go.
form.
You return to your stomping grounds. Let's say that.
Yes. And my neighborhood is disturbingly wider than any other place I've lived.
So you're wild oats.
It's like, I was walking. The only time I see anybody of color is if I walk into the Thai restaurant and talk to the person who is serving me.
Wow.
What neighborhood is this?
I mean,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to dox it.
Right.
No doxing.
Is it? Because yeah, I mean, I know Portland's pretty white, but I don't know. Like all the main drags have been a little bit of diversity, whatever.
Yeah, it's not part of a main drag. I can let you know offline.
Oh, just like a little. Yeah.
It's somewhere else.
Okay.
Anyways,
sorry.
hello, I'm here and I'm in Portland. You can find me at SageBell on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and then SageBell_model on Instagram and TikTok. But apparently Facebook is a dot model. It doesn't matter. No one posts on Facebook anymore. And I've been playing, well, surprise, Genshin. Okay. You can follow my streams. If you play Genshin and you haven't been watching other Genshin streamers, we are doing live drops right now. So when I stream tomorrow, you can just lurk in my channel and you can get some drops for the game. If you watch up to, I believe, 8 hours of Genshin on various streamers, you can get up to like 500 extra primos, plus all the other random drops they give you. In addition to that, I have been playing Overwatch 2. And obviously Dead by Daylight. So
you see that response? You see that response to Overwatch 2?
yeah. I believe that is all I've actually played in the last few weeks. No doxing, please. And
we are on the cross streets of Madison and 54th Street. Come at us.
We all just live on Broadway.
Yeah.
Right.
No swatting, please.
Oh God. Thankfully, none of us are that big, so hopefully none of that will ever happen.
Although you are in the 1% of Twitch, as we discussed on our previous one.
That makes 0 sense because I watch people and they have like 10,000 viewers.
They're still in the 1%.
Yeah.
If you have over 50 people, if you have over 50 people watching at any one given time, you are in the 1%.
I'm definitely not in the 1%. I am definitely in like maybe the top 30%.
That's still pretty high for something like Twitch. But anyway, what's going on, Loud and Brown? What you been playing?
Maniacs, Loud and Brown, Lucky Bandit. Also, remember, I'm Gross Steph with a PH. It's gonna catch these hands. I've been playing Overwatch 2. Nice. I've been playing Guilty Gear Strive, and I've been playing a lot of Third Strike. Although I really want to play Forge Strike, and I can never convince I have a whole gamer group that's hanging out, and we pick games when we can. We play some fun, like random stuff too, but Forge Strike's what I want to play. Other than that, no, that's it. And we'll talk about Overwatch a little later. There's some stuff that we got in the topics. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I want to make sure to say that we were listening to Flay Artist as we were lowing in. Check them out. I believe they have a SoundCloud. Goon's actually our contact for Flay, so I don't. And Goon's been busy, hella busy. But that's all I got. I'm going to keep it under a minute, and let's get to that first topic, baby.
Well, first up here on today's episode, it just says Street Fighter 6 is looking pretty effing tight. Loud and Brown, you wanna go ahead and elaborate on that, and I'll get your screen up.
Oh
here.
yeah, because I mean, so I obviously put the wrong link in there. I was looking for something else at the time, but go over to the next link and we could just see the Event Hub's graphics comparison, because this is something. Remember when 5 came out, where I tell you, people in fighting games, and I'm talking about obviously the FGC, the competitive scene, will turn down the specs as low as possible to make sure the game plays the best. And good graphics. Okay, great. That's perfect.
Cool.
And graphics are like a little bit of a plus. But look at the difference between 5 and 6. Like, it's pretty great. Just the hair detail. And
Her eyebrows grew in.
yeah, her eyebrows are actual eyebrows. Like little things like that. And I'm all for it. This is, Street Fighter has never been that game that says they do the best graphics. That's not the reason people play Street Fighter.
Yeah, the graphics are always usually solid, but that's not why you come, though.
But now they're stepping up and going, hey, we could probably do good graphics also.
Well, also now, I mean, it might just be a change of art style. Like maybe they're going for like a little bit more slightly realistic, so they're pushing for that. Whereas before, like 4 and 5 were still kind of like on that cartoony tip a little bit. So,
yeah, and I talked about that earlier, and I believe no one really wants to chase the dragon of Tekken, because there are fighting games, and then there's how good Tekken looks and makes everybody look like they're still in the sandbox.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, if we're gonna not be that, look, Guilty Gear is like, we're not gonna look like that. We're gonna look like a cartoon. And Street Fighter went, we're gonna go really stylized, like 2.5D. And then you got the poor sons of bitches at King of Fighters and Mortal Kombat that tried to look as good, and it's like, you gotta make it stylized, otherwise you're just not as good.
I suppose. I mean, people play Mortal Kombat for Mortal Kombat, and I think if you upgraded it too much, it wouldn't really be Mortal Kombat. People like that stiff kind of, like that's Mortal Kombat. So I could see you there, even though stuff like Injustice actually does look good, but it's still got that Mortal Kombat-iness to it.
Yeah, exactly. But same thing goes with shooters, right? There's the hyper realistic ones, and then you got Valorant, Apex, and Overwatch with the team shooters, and Fortnite, Splatoon. They're like, oh no, we're not trying to look like Battlefield. Like Battlefield, I will admit, looks pretty great, especially when you're playing campaign. You're not online. I'm like, this looks like a cutscene.
Yeah. Let's move on from Battlefield, though. That's a sad state of affairs, though.
All right, but that's all I have to say about Street Fighter. Street Fighter looks great. I'm excited for it. A lot of old heads in the FGC are pumped about it, which is nuts, because I'm like, hey, that's not coming out for at least a year. One of my friends got a beta, so we're all just asking him 1,000 questions. And he's telling us how the look and feel of it. And he works like 60 hours a week. I think he got less than 10 hours on Street Fighter 6, and he got a beta key. And we were just all furious. We're like, come on, man. We could have all hung out at your house and just took turns, because none of us got it. Nice. I did a little hot take video on it. You could see on our YouTube channel
which you did, which kind of nicely filled in. You did that and an Overwatch video too, right?
Oh yeah, you could always count on me to fill in a week if something falls through, which I believe is the future of this podcast when we dial things in. Oh, Hot Riku Girl in the house.
What up?
Just in time. We just finished talking about Street Fighter, Hot Riku Girl. We are moving on to NVIDIA and the art unlaunches. Oh God, what? Wait, you're gonna have to clear this up.
Exactly. When have you guys ever heard of this? So the new Nvidia cards came out about, I guess, about going on 3 weeks now. About a
Okay.
month. Yeah, you see that, Sage Bell?
Have you seen the size comparison?
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they had memes of people at New York apartment buildings, like putting
With the thing on
the
with the thing on the
4080
side
in
of
the
the building.
windowsill. That is the
Yeah.
size of a double fan.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's like this isn't it, but it's like if my phone was a regular graphics card, this is like the size of the 4080.
And it's not like the 3090 was tiny either. That thing was huge, and it's getting dwarfed by this new one. So basically, I'll keep it brief because I have a lot of topics here. Well, basically, what had happened was about a month before launch, they unveiled the specs of the new high-end, brand new RTX 4000 cards. Well, they always start with the top of the stack. So you have your whatever 90, your whatever 80, and sometimes a 70. Although they'll wait for that and they'll release that like a month later. So this time they unveiled the 4090, the 4080 16 gig, and the 4080 12 gig. But if you look real close at the specs, the 4080 and the 4090 are different chips, and the 4080 and the other 4080 are also different chips. And it's enough of a performance drop where that literally is the 4070. So they launched the cards. Nobody bought the 12 gig one, and they pretty much threw it back in NVIDIA's face to the point where NVIDIA had to unlaunch the card. Have you guys ever heard of it unlaunching for anything? I mean, you've heard of
I mean, I've
recalls and
heard of
stuff like that.
recalls.
Yeah.
Like when they say unlaunched, like they didn't put it out at all.
No, it was out. Nobody bought it. They pulled it back in. It wasn't a recall. There wasn't anything defective or anything like that. They simply pulled it back.
I mean, the only equivalent I can give is, games that get taken off the online store because of their such poor performance.
True. Something
Or
like
stuff that's pulled for,
copyright,
political reasons.
Yeah, copyright stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened with the Stellaris mobile game. It actually had Halo assets in it, so that got pulled off of off of mobile stores. Well, basically that's what happened, and NVIDIA kind of said, yeah, you guys are right. And from what we're hearing, pretty much all the people that made cards are just going to slap a little sticker on the same box that just says 4070, and then change a little faceplate right there where it says 4080 to 4070, and in about a month we'll see them again. So that was NVIDIA's latest black eye out of a couple of years of just straight black eyes for them. Also with these cards,
how many NVIDIA cards do you possess and use?
Currently in mine, I have a 3080, and that's probably the last NVIDIA card I'll ever buy. Before this, I had a 2080 Super, and I was prepared for that to be the last NVIDIA card I had bought in years. This one kind of fell into my lap during the whole crypto crunch launch thing.
That's right. We talked about that during a cast.
And it's the only reason I bought it, because it literally fell in my lap, and I got it for MSRP without tax. Like, it literally just fell in my lap. But I've owned NVIDIA cards throughout the years. I've owned EVGA cards throughout the years. And as we covered on this show, EVGA stepped away from 80% of their business, which was making board partner NVIDIA cards. And they just said, fuck it. It's not even worth it. It's all about respect. NVIDIA's this and that. So it looks like EVGA was right. They saw this coming, and they got out of there just in time. So it's a big headache for all the board partners. It's a big slap for NVIDIA, which frankly they have it coming. And as I was speaking on before, there's a technology that they have called DLSS. The consoles which have AMD technology, it's called FSR. And basically what it does is it lowers the game's resolution, or it lowers bits of the game, and then the AI goes back and fills it in, which lets you get more performance out of lower end hardware or even higher end hardware. So it's to take a game like Cyberpunk and you want to run that at 4K, you turn your DLS on, and it would take little certain edges, certain little jaggies, and then your AI would render that instead of your actual graphics card doing it, and you can get more FPS or raise your settings that way. The thing I'm mentioning with this here, DLS is on version 3. It launched with these cards. DLS 3 only works on these cards officially. It does not work on all the 3,000 cards like I have and the 2,000 card that I have. So basically they're cutting off the vast majority of their users, and the newer tech is on this one. I will say about 3 days later, somebody figured it out and jailbroke it. So DLS 3 runs on the older cards. So that's like some other crazy slap in the face black eye stuff NVIDIA is doing. We can go on and on, but I just wanted to cover an unlaunching. So let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter what the hell you think of an unlaunching, and if you've ever heard of it, and give us an example, kind of like what Unbrow just tried to do. So moving on. Do you guys have any questions or comments here in the chat?
Not yet.
Okay. So moving on. Congrats, Soldier, on your 3060. That's a very solid card.
We actually, in one of my Discord servers, somebody had to get it, and then they were immediately selling it at the face value with tax.
Which one? The 4080?
The 4080. We said you need to wait, like don't buy it, and they drove out like somewhere and bought it.
This is what I like to call a dead tech walking, and this is definitely one of them. So like HD DVD players, all that kind of stuff, dead tech walking.
Yeah, I think they bought 2, and then they immediately put their 3080 and one of the 4080s up for sale.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, we'll talk about this later. We'll bring this up. But yeah. So moving on, our next topic. This is actually kind of related to something that we're going to get into later. But we all had something on this topic, and those that follow video gaming in general have probably come across this. This is the voice actress for Bayonetta here. This is her video that she posted. We'll keep it muted here. Anybody else want to chip in on this? So I'm not talking for like 45 minutes straight. Sage Bell, you had some words for this.
So basically the voice actress posted this video saying that she was only offered like a minuscule amount of money for her role in the 3rd game. Which goes against like NDAs and all this other stuff. And it opened up this huge conversation for how little voice actors are paid.
Yep.
It is trending on Twitter still.
It is.
Well, it's trending on Twitter now for different reasons.
Yeah. Which we'll get into.
Oh, jeez.
Was it the CEO or the owner or whatever of the company? He made like a very cryptic response to this.
Yes, he did.
Which I assume you have, or maybe don't.
I don't think I have that one pulled up.
But it was one of those like, don't you dare cross me kind of things. Like, you should know better.
You never work in this town again type stuff.
Yeah.
They'll never find the body.
But what we discovered from this conversation is a lot of times voice actors are only paid like $1,500 for a certain amount of roles. Here's the SAG, like the official, like what voice acting pays if you have like a SAG, whatever.
So I think she'd be here, off-camera performers, day performer, and she'd be at the highest one here, which would be $9.56 a day. I think that's her.
Up to 3 voices, 4-hour day.
Yep, the very first one. So for those at home, we should actually post this on our Twitter and our Facebook and stuff as well, so you can take a look at that. So she's about $1,000 a day, and you figure what, about 2 or 3 weeks worth of work.
Yeah,
You know.
I know she said something, and Hot Ruka Girl is dropping it right now. I think at the end of her video, she said that she got offered $4,000 total.
At the end of her original video, yes.
Yes.
I know. Hey, Jica Monte Cristo in the house.
What's up?
Yeah. Yeah, 4 hours for $900. I also agree that is good.
So here we have Jason Schreier, one of like probably the only game journal left doing his actual goddamn job. But here we go a few days later. Sage Bell, you got this?
Sorry, I was just like reading. The offer, so let's see. What she didn't explain was okay. You say it. My brain is broken now.
All good. I feel you. Well, basically, it came out a few days later via Jason Schreier poking around that she was indeed offered more than $4,000. She was indeed offered $10,000 and then $15,000 and still turned it down. So, Boyle cried wolf much?
Yeah, it depends on how many hours this entails, right? Because that was part of the problem.
fact of the matter is, she said 4,000, and she left.
That is very true.
So,
you're right.
She even later says an extra 5,000, which is still higher than the 4,000 she said. There we go. They offer me a flat fee for some voice lines for $4,000. So,
I mean, you're right. It is. You're right, Lana Brown. It is very peddling compared to like what Bayonetta 3 is going to bring in. So yes, I do feel you there. The developers probably spent more on snacks in their break room than they're going to pay her.
Sure, but
role.
I actually don't know I mean, there are. Am I exaggerating to say that she would have over 100 hours of recorded lines? Is that
Hard to say? Hard to say.
like I actually don't know the subject for comparison. I can only imagine because I've played games like The Last of Us, and I go, that must be a month solid work. Like
But
there's so many voice lines.
But dialogue wise, Bayonetta is not The Last of Us. Yeah, she has lines, but it's nothing like a fully voiced basically movie with multiple branching paths. Like that's
Yeah.
Last of Us is like crazy with the dialogue.
I hear you. And
So, yeah.
even this, sure. Yeah, 15 grand is cool, but we don't have the other factor. 15 grand. What if it was for her working full time for 6 months? Like how long does her recording process actually take?
I seriously
Or
doubt it's that long.
1
It
week?
would not.
It would not.
Yeah,
If this is like 1 week of work, I don't know, man.
I'll put it to you this way. Let's say it takes 20 hours to beat a Bayonetta game. Bayonetta probably talks for about an hour of that. Somewhere along there. Like not really including like the and like the action noises, but like it's probably not like the paid actress doing all that.
20 hours is half a full-time week of work for 15 grand. That's not bad.
No, it's not. But when the game's gonna go on and make like $100 million, it's kind of like oof. Just a little
Yeah.
bit.
So the argument is it's not enough for how much the game makes.
Yes, which is true.
For general purpose, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For normies like us, that's a shit ton of money. Yes.
Yeah. Does this have the same prestige that animation voice acting is? Like,
yes.
She doesn't get does she get advertised in the ads the way that Mark Maron was advertised as the snake in Bad Guys? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
this is Bayonetta. Yes.
Okay.
She gets plastered everywhere. She's in Smash Brothers, not even a Nintendo character, so she gets plastered everywhere.
And is she like doing? And I'm thinking about it in Hollywood. Is she doing press junkets for Bayonetta 1 and 2, telling people how great the game is going to be? Like
yes.
Then yeah, she probably should get more because that's all stuff on the back end.
She probably gets paid in signings and personal appearances and stuff for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My only subject for comparison with games and visibly noticeable voice casts is Overwatch. It's the only game I've ever played where the voice actors are so involved with the production and the fans. Like, I don't know what the voice of Guile looks like. I have no idea. And I play a lot of Street Fighter.
I would say
play so much.
I would say
maybe Halo.
I would say David Hayter with the Metal Gear. He's Snake. I would say the guy who voices Mario, as much as Nintendo will allow him, he's also very involved.
Until it's Chris Pratt.
There's quite a few. Jennifer Hale with Mass Effect. She's also very involved with that game and with the fans.
Oh, Cospix.net had a good point. It was a comparison for school teachers who don't get paid for summer vacation, so the pay has to account for the downtime.
Yes.
Okay.
But school teachers can also teach summer school or tutor, which would be her version of going on speaking tours and signing autographs.
Bayonetta voice actress hasn't done any other kind of acting since 2014 as Bayonetta. So she has a different job.
Yes.
There's no way she could sustain that long without work.
Yes.
So she's only the voice actress of Bayonetta since. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. All I know is she comes out of this looking like kind of a liar. So that's that.
A little bit, yeah. It definitely didn't help. Yeah, her IMDb is quiet.
Yes.
Recently, yeah.
Yes, it is.
She was additional voices in Dragon Age Origins, which is older than Bayonetta.
Yeah, that was.
She did acting much younger.
Yeah, that was out on like the 360 and the PS3, so that was a while ago.
Yeah.
And also Jicka Monte Cristo, very good point. Yeah, like part of being an actor is looking for other gigs. That totally makes sense. But don't want to talk about this too much. Yeah, we had like 4 links on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets the podcast moving a little quicker.
So next up, before I click, Have you guys out there in console land? Have you guys gotten your hands on a PS5 yet? They're actually available. You can actually walk into a Target and buy them now. They're actually just sitting there.
I mean, with
but
that much time, I just have fallen out of love with even the idea of having one.
yes, I'm much in the same boat. I tried for about the first 2 months it was out, and I was like, fine, I just don't want to sell me one. Well, if you got your scalped one and you've been happy with it, all good. If you just bought your scalped one, I'll have you know it's time to throw it in the trash. Because they're already talking about developers have been shipped mid-gen upgrades. So your PS5 Pro and your Xbox X, I guess that would be because it was the one and then the One X, and now the Series X, so it's going to be the Series XX. So that's the rumor.
SEX.
So there's already a Series S though. So but would the Series S version one be the Series X? Would that be? So basically, this is the rumor, nothing confirmed. But if the history is anything to go by, possibly, potentially. So prepare to possibly throw your brand new shiny PS5 in the trash, or trade it in a GameStop and get like $6 for it,
or just use it to play Netflix.
Yeah.
That's what so many people. Was it the second most used hardware to play Netflix? Was a PS3, something crazy like that, right?
And the
tons of people.
And the third most used thing to watch porn on, besides phones and PCs, is PlayStations.
They're watching porn on PlayStations?
Yes. If you go to Pornhub and look at their analytics, it goes PC, it goes mobile, PC, and then PlayStation.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, Sony.
Yes. And Pornhub analytics for the record is hilarious. Like if you go look at that shit, it's hilarious.
Incognito mode.
Yes, definitely fire up that incognito mode, VPN if you got one. So yeah, that's it. Just be prepared for that Pro. So like, don't
and Hot
yourself.
Riku Girl wanted to ask, what games are actually exclusive to PS5
at the moment?
Yeah, just
you've got the Demon Souls, you've got Gran Turismo for what's that worth. You've got Ratchet and Clank, which looks fine. I can't wait for that to come out on something else besides PlayStation, because they were saying that game would only play with the power of the PS5 hard drive. I can't wait to see it running on a potato PC. That's going to be hilarious. You've got not Persona 5 anymore, because that came out this week and it's on Game Pass. We'll talk about the Game Pass here coming up. You've got hey Jack, help me out. What else is exclusive on your little plastic box?
Last of Us Remake 1 and 2.
Yes, you got The Last of Us Remaster. You've got there's something else in there too, but I can't remember. But basically, those are like your big major exclusives. Everything else is like slowly leaking out the PC, including Persona 5.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I played Last of Us 2 on my PS4. Not exclusive.
I mean, not exclusive to PlayStation, but it's exclusive to console.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
To that line of console.
I haven't had a reason to buy the 5 because everything I've wanted to play is available.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Miles. No, the Miles.
Miles Morales one
on 4 too, right?
Yes, and that's also coming to PC. That's in December. And rolling back to what Sage Bell was talking about, how someone in their stream sold the 3080 and put the 4080 right back up. Nobody's buying the new cards because, as we'll see here in a minute, the most popular graphics cards on Steam are from 2016 and 2017. And everybody's playing their games just fine. So nobody's buying a 4080 when they're still playing on like their 1060 from like 2016.
The only people buying the new things are the people who just don't care and waste their money.
Yes. And it's diminishing
we got
returns.
Friends like that too.
They got that FOMO. They want that newest thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I got friends with FU money that just buy stuff for whatever.
Yep.
So I understand.
So next up, we find out just exactly how in the hell much money Microsoft is making off of Game Pass.
Oh, let's talk Game Pass, baby.
This is a result. We talked about this because it kind of brought up how Sony was the only gaming company that has any beef with Activision, with Microsoft buying Activision. In the time since our last broadcast, they flew Jim Ryan, who's their CEO, over to Europe as to speak on Sony's behalf to the UK Antitrust Commission about Microsoft potentially buying Activision Blizzard. And somehow or other, a couple of days later, it kind of came out that if the deal does go through, Microsoft would have to sell, I forgot what it was, but some little piece of something that Activision owns. They'd have to sell that piece off as part of like their antitrust thing. Look at all these things when you turn off the ad blocker, it's all running into the text. Well, basically, through the antitrust in Brazil, which is public domain, anyone can go and see all these government documents while all the rest are kind of hush-hushed. We find out that here on this handy-dandy chart, which originally had Sony's number, which was about $1.5 billion. This is what these companies make off of their live services, right? And in Microsoft's case, this is just Game Pass and just on the Xbox. So here you have Electronic Arts. They make about $350 million off of Origin and EA Play. You have Nintendo. They make about $1 billion off of Nintendo Online and their games that they sell to the eShop. Sony was at about 1.5 billion, which is not there anymore, surprisingly. That's weird that Sony would go out of their way to take off their number. And here you have Microsoft with just the Game Pass. This isn't Xbox Live. This isn't the games that they buy and sell. This is just Game Pass and just on the Xbox. The third place console, keep in mind, everyone, the one that has no games. $2.9 billion.
And
That's
you're saying that doesn't include Game Pass for PC?
No, that doesn't include Game Pass for PC. That doesn't include people who buy Game Pass to stream it to their tablet. This is just Game Pass and just on the Xbox. $2.9
cuckoo bananas.
billion. Do you see why Sony's freaking out a little bit when like the third place companies like smacking them around on this just a little bit? Makes double. So imagine if they were in first, it'd be something stupid. So yes, how much does Game Pass actually make is the question. They don't even need a best-selling console, and they know this, and Sony knows this. So yeah, comments. Anyone?
Do you have
comments? Oh yeah, I got Game Pass. Yeah, I have the ultimate. I have Game Pass and Xbox Live together. Yep, and it's like $90 a year.
There $90 a year.
Yes, and that's for Game Pass for 12 months, and that's for Xbox Live for 12 months.
So if we're gonna extrapolate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying 3 billion.
But keep in mind, most people I know still do the thing where you sign up for a month, you cancel right before it's over, and you sign up again, and that's $1. And you can do that up to 4 or 5 times. Most people I know still do that.
Okay, 3 billion divided by 100.
Yeah, Jick down there, he says I pay for the Sony equivalent, and it sucks with like 9 S's.
So like, that's saying if we included every concurrent player, that means there's 30 million people with this.
Your math is spot on, because a couple months ago we reported right here on this very podcast about a year ago that they announced they had about 25 or 26 million users. So they've gone up about 4 million users.
And that's not counting, like you said, the people that like add and subtract people, you know?
Yeah, that's not counting the PC people. That's not counting the people that get it to stream on tablets, of which there's quite a few. I know a few people that have it because the streaming on there is not bad at all. So yeah, it doesn't count them, and it doesn't count Xbox Live, and it doesn't count the games that they buy and sell. This is just Game Pass. Kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is why maybe Sony is freaking out just a wee bit. So we won't hang on that. Everybody let that sink in. Any questions, comments, let us know. Hit us up on all our medias and talk about it there. Kind of crazy. So what we got next here? Oh, should we take a little break here? Because I think we're gonna go in on this next time. You want to leave the break there, Loud and Brown?
Yeah. So Maniacs, thank you for jumping in. Sorry, I was ready for the break later, but no, it's good. Thanks for tuning in. I love that we have our favorites in the chat as usual, and giving that commentary and letting us continue the conversation about gaming, mostly PC so far, and PlayStation talk. And I guess we're doing a lot of stuff.
Xbox too. Third place and dominating.
And we've talked about fighters, and we talked a very, very little bit about shooters and RPGs. We got all of it.
And we talked
Where
about
those MOBAs at, baby?
We talked about liars too. Oh, we can't talk about
liars.
MOBAs. This week is the international for Dota, and they just finished all the main stuff.
Talk about some money.
All the main event stuff. Yes. I'm not sure what the prize pool is up to now, but last year it was like about $50 million. So I'm not sure what it's up to now. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, nope. Paying rent for 2 places is not fun. That does not sound like fun at all.
Not have fiber either.
I want fiber.
I miss my Google Fiber.
I have a friend in Atlanta that has that. I had no idea that they had it in his area.
I have blown the breaker in this room twice in 24 hours.
You need an APC in there. You got an APC for your computer, Sage Bell?
APC?
Yeah, APC is like the little box, and it's basically just a giant battery, and it's also a surge protector, so you can plug all your stuff into it, and it charges up, and it's got its own battery. So if the power ever goes out, your
Oh.
computer and your monitors don't just shut off. You have a few minutes to like close everything and shut it out.
No, I don't have one of those.
Well worth the investment. Get one that costs about $110 because the other ones underneath that might not help you, but about $110. That's about where you want to spend.
That's not too bad.
There's zero fiber opportunities in this area,
which is crazy.
Even with Comcast.
Are you kidding me?
Even with Comcast, there's zero in this specific neighborhood.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Jake. They're called UPCs, and the company that makes them is called APCs. Thank you.
Why?
Yes. Just because technology. But also that sucks because you're in Portland. You are adjacent to two of the most wired cities in the world. You have tech down there and large Fortune 500 companies, but no fiber option anywhere.
There is fiber if you go out of this area. There is Ziply fiber, and and there's Comcast fiber in some areas, and there is, what is the other one?
Google?
No,
Google's fiber.
No, the other one.
Xfinity.
No, that's
Xfinity's Comcast. Who's the other one?
The one that's like they're known for satellites.
Is it DirecTV?
No.
Is it they went for satellites? It's not Dish.
No, I feel like I associate them with satellites, but they also do fiber.
Okay.
AOL.
Cisco? No, Hot Rico girl. It's not AOL.
Cisco?
No, Cisco's not. CenturyLink.
CenturyLink.
The Clink does fiber down there. Does Gigabyte?
It does, but not in this neighborhood.
Oh boy.
Specifically, not this apartment house area. So this specific neighborhood gets zero fiber. If you go like 2 miles away from where I am, all the like terrible fiber, as in Xfinity and CenturyLink,
that's what I'm stuck with.
They have so it did not make it into this particular area I live. It's like the construction here is just so old they refuse to upgrade.
Well, that's quite unfortunate.
We were talking to the Comcast guy, and he was like, yeah, just like 2 miles down the road, there's new construction, and they have Comcast fiber, and it's just...
Lo siento, Sage Bell.
I know. So that's unfortunate. Well, on a positive note, I got nothing.
You could play that lovely palette cleanser video that's below the other.
Actually, topic. We'll do this because we're gonna need a palette cleanser after this one, and because this has been my hot button topic of the week, and I've been dunking on this hard all week, and I have to share it with everybody because this is hashtag exposing yourself as just sucking at your job. Okay, and as a little bit of background, I work in hardware. I test hardware that's very similar to what's in the Steam Deck, that's what's in the PlayStation 4 and 5, what's in both the Xbone and the Series, what's in the Switch. I literally get paid professionally to test gaming hardware, and that's what I test, something very close to it. So people are trying to argue with me all this week. I'm like, tell me more about my hardware job while you tell me about hardware. But anyway, here we go. This got my blood boiling. And I even made a little chart for it, which we'll get into. But basically, this is reported by originally who reported this. This is as reported by VGC. There was a gaming journalist named Jeff Gertzman who said he thinks that the whole Series S is holding back next generation. And he's quoted some developers as, sources that he's gotten this information from, which I find hilarious. Because they still make games that have to work on the launch PS4, and they still make games that have to work on the launch Xbone, like the VCR, and they still have to make games that run on the Switch. So you have no problem porting Doom onto the Switch and onto the
But the
Xbone.
Xbox Series X, I wonder what the deal is with that one.
But the Series S, that's the cheap one. That's the one I have. That's the preferred
Yeah.
one. That is the best selling of them. That one's outselling the X like 3-1, I think. So most people who have a new Xbox have this one, right?
And
So
it's
they're
just
saying,
hard to program for, or
we'll get to that. I'll show you. So basically, this veteran special effects artist said how this claim just doesn't hold up, and he pointed out the first thing I said. Most of these games also come to PC and already cover a wide variety of configurations. The guy who originally said it, he said he's worked on Xbox Series X and PC games, which includes Surgeon Simulator. For those that like know, like little indie kitsch, everybody knows Surgeon Simulator. That was one of the big little indie kishy games that kind of hit it big and kind of put the indie games on the map. He said they spent the last year sitting in meetings talking about how they could try to ditch the S instead of just porting your games to it and figuring it out. You're making it work on the Xbone, but this is bad. So I made this little handy dandy chart. I posted this on our Twitter. I'll post this on our Facebook and other places. So I made this little handy dandy chart. So we'll zoom in here if I can. I don't know how to zoom in on it's already zoomed in. I can't zoom any further. But basically, I made this chart. So here is your average PC. The first one is your average PC on Steam. Next is the Series S. Then you have the Xbone and PS4, followed by the PS4 Pro, because that's going to be like your most populous, like powerful last gen console. The One X is slightly more powerful, but everybody has a PS4 Pro at that level. And then you have the Switch. I've highlighted the best stuff in bold, the second best stuff in italics, and the red stuff is just straight up the worst. So looking at this chart for those listening at home, the Xbone, between the Xbone, the PS4 Pro, and the Switch, they have the worst of these things. You're looking
you're
at
gonna
the
have to
average.
zoom in, buddy. That's pretty rough.
I can't really without it blowing up. But anyway, I'll do it. But anyway, that's the
There you
most
go.
I can get it.
That ain't hard.
So yeah, but I didn't know if it was going to cut it off because it cut it off earlier.
Oh.
So basically, your average PC on Steam has a first generation Ryzen. This is from 2016, 6 cores and 12 threads. Right? You look at the Series S. It has a Zen 2. That's like 4 years removed from the launch. That's what's in the current consoles. That's what's in the Steam Deck. It's 8 cores. It's also 16 threads. But with these processors, if you turn off the hyper threading, the threads, you actually get better per core performance, and it saves you power, which makes sense in a console. So I gave that one the win. If you look at the GPU, the average GPU on Steam is a GTX 1060. We were talking about this earlier, how nobody's buying the new cards because the vast majority of people are still fine with their card from 2016. That's about 4 to 5 teraflops of power. For a comparison, the PS5 Pro is about 4 teraflops of graphical compute power. You look at the
PS4 Pro?
The Pro, yes.
Okay.
Which also came out in 2016, the same year as these graphics cards. If you look at the Series S, that has a 4 teraflop brand new RDNA 2. That's the graphics that's in the Steam Deck and the current consoles. So I gave the advantage to the PC because a standalone piece of hardware is always going to be more powerful than something that's integrated. So I kind of gave it, but for nuts and bolts for gaming purposes, they're roughly the same. The RAM on your average gaming PC, it has 16 gigs of DDR4. The Series S has 10 gigs, but it's DDR5, so it's faster. And the whole system is way more streamlined. You're not running Windows full blown. You're not running all this other garbage. So it's about the same, but I gave the edge to the PC because more is more. And your storage, your average storage on a PC is a 256 SATA hard drive, which dates back to like 2012 when like SATA hard drives first like started becoming mainstream. That's what you could put as an upgrade in your PS4 Pro. I'm not sure if you could do it in your Xbone with your PS4 launch and so on and so forth. The Series S has a 512 brand new PCIe 4.0 SSD. This thing's screaming fast. It's also what's in the other current consoles. So you tell me, we hadn't even gone into these other ancient consoles, which were ancient before they came out. Let's just be that it was old dying tech before they even launched. So let's just be real. Where's the bottleneck in all this? What's holding back what? Developers? What? So they pretty much got bombed on Twitter and deleted the tweets and locked their accounts. So hashtag exposed for being whiny little bitches and not knowing how to do your job. Because I have test games that run on a little thin little Surface laptop that run at 60 FPS at 1200p, and like Doom and stuff like that, Forza. So what are they complaining about? The S runs Flight Simulator. but you can't get current games to run on it. Okay, buddy. So that's what I've been dunking on all week for. It's just kind of ridiculous. Everyone, thoughts? What's going on? What do you think of it?
Oh, I haven't even been chasing this game or this conversation, but I know that if you need to get into a conversation about it, hit up Twitter at v-gaming, and y'all can trade memes about throwing Series S under the bus all you want, and that'd be ridiculous. A good place of concourse. Were you on any Discords talking about this, or are there any notable YouTube channels that have given a hot take?
Excuse me. Notably, a little bit. They kind of go into, I can't really give any examples. I've just kind of seen it here and there. I didn't really watch the videos because I already knew, from experience and actually owning an S and seeing what it can do and actually testing similar stuff.
Sure.
And playing on a Steam Deck. I know what the Steam Deck can do. Just kind of the general Discord is kind of like, what are they talking about? Unless you're a PlayStation pony, and they're like, yeah, see, even though most of them are still playing on Pros, which are technically the same as an S but older, with a crappier hard drive. So it's just been this one big whole shit show. And basically anyone who backs these devs up, or anyone who tries to say, well, the PlayStation 4 this and that, they're instantly exposed as not knowing what you're talking about. I like to call it monkeys planning a moon landing. Like a monkey can look up at the moon and maybe they can rationalize, hey, that's a rock over there. Maybe I can get to it. And you could put that monkey in a room with a bunch of rocket parts for 1 million years, and maybe they'll build a rocket, but they probably won't. So when I hear people talking about stuff like this, like that's you, like you're a monkey planning a moon landing. Maybe it will say something right in all this, but probably not. So yes, that's been my hot button topic all week. That's been grinding my gears all week. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Cool. And I believe after that, we must move on to that palette cleanser. And then we got like 3 little tags to talk about.
Yep.
Go ahead. So we're going to be talking about, let's go to that palette cleanser. Fool.
Let's do that. Technology. Hang on one sec. Boom. So what we got here, Sage Bell?
It's called Hamster Playground. Look at it.
Here, just in case we're copyrighted, I'll turn that down there. Hamster Playground. I mean, I'm all for these kinds of games, like cat lateral damage, and
it's using a shower. What? You get to be the hamster?
Oh, he's got the deal with it shades on.
Yes, he does. Oh my god! So it's like Hamster Sims.
Except I hope it doesn't cost $15,000 to get all the DLC like The Sims does.
No, I bet it kind of reminds me of Skatebird.
Oh, look, there's Loudon Brown with the hamster wheel powering his webcam.
Yes, this is where you are.
Nice.
So,
look, it's got mini games like Fall Guys and shit.
Yeah, look at that.
Looks great.
Okay. Yo, look at the graphics on that food. It actually looked good.
Hell yeah, texturing for the win.
Early access on Steam.
Wow, yeah, great. What was the name of the developer so we could drop it to our millions and millions of fans?
We will take a look at the Steam store here while we're here.
Okay.
That is by We Dig Games, developed and self-published. You see the beauty of that? And this game would be super easy to port to the Series S if you know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway.
Okay. So, Final Fantasy VII. They're going to call part 2. Yeah, let's click on that next link. This is the last thing I have to say for tonight. They're calling the next part Rebirth. My subtitle for this was freaking biters, because Evangelion, you are not alone, and Rebirth, and all that. I'm like, I have that associated with anything bumping things back. But
personally, I call this game Final Fantasy 2035 because that's when we'll be able to play it all together at one time.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't need them anytime soon. I already played them. I had a lot of fun playing the remake. I'm in no rush to play the next one. I want to play other games.
Remake plays great on the Steam Deck, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it does. So I'm stoked about it. And this is reported by, we got to be better at that, by the way. Tech Radar reporting in. Obviously, they have a screenshot of Zach. And it's sounding like it may or may not be even a farther departure from the original game. They're going to, use elements of. There was talk of using the elements of Dirge of Cerberus and Final Fantasy VII, the mobile game where you get to play as Zack. And who knows? Maybe the
Wait,
other game.
hold on. You said the mobile game, right?
What am I thinking of? The one with the Turks. What the hell was that game called?
Are you talking about?
You're talking like 2008.
Are you talking the First Soldier?
Oh,
because this was a prequel to 7 that lasted a whopping 14 months on mobile. Do you guys not have phones? And now it's going away.
maybe it's not that.
Okay.
No, it's not that.
No.
He's just
We're talking about something much, much older.
Okay.
Yeah, like 2007 or 8. Because my first convention was KomoriCon, and they had Turks just dressed up selling out handing out Turkish coffee beans at KomoriCon.
Oh, Crisis Core.
Oh, okay. That's the one where you were playing as Vincent, right?
No, Crisis Core. You're following. You're Zach. Vincent was Dirge of Cerberus.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and it was a over the shoulder shooter, but they're saying because they're really throwing before Crisis. Yeah, Crisis Core. Thank you, Hot Rico Girl. Close. And yes, Sageville, Hot Rico Girl says to get a 2-mile Ethernet cable to the area closest to you and run that fiber, baby.
Yes, that'd be a very thick cable.
So I'm looking at you need a bunch of switches in between to keep the signal from dying out too. So I'm looking here and it says next winter, so winter 2022 or 2025, 2023, I should say, right?
Yeah.
So 2024 sometime on PC. Great. And also, I'm noticing this. Unfortunately for PS4 owners, it won't be a cross-gen like the first part. So are you saying the PS4 is a bottleneck? Is that what this is saying and spelling out right here? Okay, that's interesting. Anyway.
Cross-gen.
Yeah, there's no PS4 version because the PS4 is a bottleneck. And yes.
Says them. Whatever. We'll see about that.
It's right here. That's why they're doing it. So that's why.
Okay, but that's all I had.
Well, alrighty. What we got next?
The latest streamer drama for the top paid female streamer in all of the land.
Oh, you don't want to do the Blizzard thing? Because that's also a chance to
there's a Blizzard thing?
Yeah, that's also a
Blizzard's
chance to
Diablo testers win right to unions.
Let's go. I think that's just a really cool topic to say, hey, the game testers they win, they can unionize.
Oh, and and Eurogamer had to report it.
I would like to thank Nintendo for making this all possible. Good job, Nintendo. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Are you unionized?
So there was a well-known Nintendo executive. I forgot her name, but she was a face. Like if you saw her, you'd recognize her because she's been in videos. She's been in interviews for about a good 10 or 15 years. She's been over there. Well, she got asked in an interview what she thought of video game companies unionizing. And she gave a very neutral answer, but she didn't say no in that answer. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. Fast forward about a month later, and people are kind of noticing she's not as active as she used to be. Where is she at? Because she's, like I said, she was a public face of the company. Come to find out, she got terminated from Nintendo. And people were like, after 15 years, she gives this kind of neutral interview, and now she's gone, eh? About a couple months later, she ends up suing Nintendo for wrongful termination and for lost wages. Well, 2 weeks ago, she won her case. She won her settlement. And as a result, Nintendo had to settle on certain terms. And part of those terms were Nintendo employees can openly talk about unions. They can openly form unions. And there can be no retribution for helping to form a union or being a part of a union at Nintendo. That's part of the agreement. But now, all of a sudden, I see Blizzard has a union. Holy shit. Wow. How'd that happen?
I mean, we also definitely have to talk about Amazon in not the Pacific, in the Northeast region, like factory workers unionizing. Starbucks here in the Pacific Northwest. Several groups are starting to unionize.
West Coast in general.
Like unions are finally coming back. I can't believe it took 40 years after Reagan smashing all the unions way back then. Yes. Yeah, we're getting a little political, but this is history.
Let's just hope the little bits of corruption and little bits of power mongering that were going on in a lot of unions. You know, and he was doing that to also try to smash up the mob because they were in control of a lot of unions.
They
So
were that, and you know what
But
the
it-
problem is?
but he
That's
did
part
throw-
of the narrative for union busters is
Yes.
to keep talking about the mob
okay,
and the
yeah, like I was gonna say, like they basically threw the baby out with the bathwater. So
They
I'm just
did.
saying, as these unions are starting to pop up, let's hope that we can avoid some of these things so they don't have that ammunition to try to smack them down again.
and I see both sides of the coin, because when you travel, there's a big difference between a in-city craft cocktail bartender and the airport that you landed in, unioned and tenured bartender. Just completely different vibes. And that, I mean, that I see where it can go wrong, but it just needs someone to pay attention and do it well and do it right.
Do it right from the beginning and try to avoid all the pit traps that made you a target the other time everything got broken up. That's
And yeah, maybe don't tie it in with the mob. That'd be nice.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just avoid that this time entirely.
Yeah. And then moving on to what a banger of a last topic, but let's do it, baby. That's all yours, Sage Bell.
Speaking of bangers.
Oh man, I can never remember how to pronounce her name because every time I try to spell it, it's wrong. Amaranth?
Yes, that is correct.
So first of all, how many of you knew she was married? So
I don't know who this is.
How do you not know who this is? She's the
not-
largest Twitch streamer
She
Yeah,
is
I don't.
by far.
the only
Cool.
woman in the top 100.
Yeah, and she shows up outside of Twitch in all these different places. She was on G4 RIP, and she was on some
Yeah.
other places. She was in
Mhm.
like a regular.
Yeah.
She was in a Super Bowl ad actually.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, she
she's-
doesn't play competitive fighting games, so
She plays competitive Overwatch though. She is a tracer main, I learned today.
There you go. Broaden them horizons.
Fun fact.
yeah.
Anyways,
She flat though.
she
That's racist.
came. Black people get paid more than her on Twitch,
She's right.
and that's not very much. But there's more of them on the top 100 than there are women.
And I bet you most of them still aren't in the top 1% though.
Yeah, well, anyone who's more than me is top 1%. Anyways, so she came out with basically allegations towards her husband. So first of all these simps just went up in arms because they didn't know she was married, because women aren't allowed to talk about their relationship status ever.
No, that's
if
not
they
it.
want to make money.
That's not it. Do you know what it is? You know what it is? It's like when there's a hot chick that you like, an actress, and then you see her boobs in a movie. Like she kind of goes down a peg because like that mystery is kind of taken away. When it's someone like this, the male fantasy is I have a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. And when they're married, it's like, so that's just it. It's just that. Yep.
Her husband's also a famous Twitch streamer.
That I did not know.
I didn't know any of this. So I'm just like learning it as it's happening. Her cameraman just kind of let the abuse happen, and he's like, we've been friends for years, and she's like, you need to shut up. So basically, yeah, long story short of it, she has just talked about all the verbal abuse. She even had she live streamed a phone call with her husband, and he is threatening to send her dogs to a pet grind, like to get them all ground up and to like basically kill her dogs.
Okay.
So like there's all of this. I don't know if this is legit kind of drama or if it's like, streamer drama, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Like, do you think it's kayfabe? Like it's slightly narration? I mean, as slightly like written?
I mean, it could be either way. The society we live in today is all social media based.
And here's the thing, even if it's not, her track record would make you think that. So even if it's not, her track record would make you still think that. And like not
exactly.
Really, it would make doubt her a little bit.
Yeah. But there's enough evidence to show that she is a victim, but because of how social media is, we are still kind of like, are we sure?
Yes.
Because of just how literally the Gen Z era of all this shit has been happening.
Yes,
But-
and not only that, we have to mention Johnny Depp,
Mm-hmm.
who got his name dragged through the mud and lost millions of dollars in rolls and got his bed pooped in for, you know what I mean?
Cut.
Yes, his finger exploded.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's still fresh on people's minds too. So yeah.
So it's hard to, you know, in one way, just like believe all this is happening because she has a lot of other weird drama that we've kind of brought up throughout the years. Like she's gone into like real estate at one point or something.
Yes.
That-
She bought a gas station, which in this
Oh,
day and
yeah.
age is not a bad buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a weird buy. Like you're like, what?
Well, see,
Why do
that's
we
the,
know this?
see, that's the thing too. If you look at most celebrities and they're like, oh, they're worth $1 billion, and they're like an actor or an athlete, none of that money is from when they played sports. They own like 50 dry cleaners and like 10 McDonald's and like a bunch of gas stations, the shit you would never know of, like Nelly and Master P. They have all that money because they own like a dry cleaning business or a carpet cleaning business. They own like 3 or 4 of them. So that's where their loot comes from. So it makes sense that people would diversify in this way.
Yeah, it's just we didn't know about that because those people weren't prime social media era. Like I didn't know most of that. And she's prime spotlight social media because of how everything's like turned on us. So it's actually more impressive that she's been this famous for this long and we never knew she was married.
Yes, that's very impressive. I would agree. So we got the follow-up here, right? We got the second thing here.
Oh yeah, so an Instagram model cosplayed her domestic abuse video.
Did she actually mouth over like the actual words of the video?
I don't know. She definitely I think she just kind of like fake did it. I don't think she mouthed over it.
What's up
But
with
Wait,
this
Magic
background?
Johnson owns a bunch of cranes.
Yes. Magic Johnson is the second largest construction company behind Vulcan, which was owned by Paul Allen on the West Coast. Yes.
Good God.
He also is a part owner of the Dodgers, who won the World Series last year. He's also a part owner of the Lakers, who are like probably the most valuable sports team on the planet, next to like a soccer football team, but they're right up there with any football team. He also owns a shit ton of property all over the place that we don't even know about, including the land that his 30 Magic Johnson theaters sit on. Yes. So that's a perfect example.
He's worth a minimum of $620 million.
Magic? Oh, he's worth way more than that.
I know this is just celebritynetworth.com.
Yeah.
But
That's a minimum.
I would also just like to say on this particular article, the term was it Instagram model irritates the shit out of me.
Why?
So
That's a thing.
I know it's a thing, and it's the most unprofessional thing, and that's the thing that drives the money now instead of like people who are like actually being professional in their. It's like it's the drama of the internet.
Agreed.
That irritates the shit out of me. And Instagram models are just like the fakest of like the modeling.
The fakest of the fake.
Oh my God. It's just like, can we at least get someone who's trained professional or like who knows how to act like a normal?
Why? You don't need it.
I don't like the drama.
You don't need it though. The drama is what drives sales. Look at our boy Kanye. Everybody's like, can you believe what Kanye said? Every time somebody mentions Kanye, like I just did twice, he just made like $1 off me just mentioning his name twice.
Oh God, I don't want to remember any of this. You were saying earlier how that's who Amaranth is of the Twitch community.
Yeah, because she knows, like, just people mentioning her name is cash money. You remember the last time Kanye wigged out and asked for Zuckerberg? He asked Zuckerberg for money on Twitter. He was worth about $10 million because he had about $50 million in outstanding debt. 2 years later, he was worth $130 million. I saw an article about Pete Davidson. He's quadrupled his net worth in the last 2 years. You think
all
that's
he
a
had to
coincidence?
do was date Ariana, and now he's getting all the A-list of girlfriends.
Yeah, he quadrupled his net worth in the last 2 years. Like that wasn't an accident.
Every time I see his face,
So-
I'm like, oh God, he exists.
Yes,
Like,
yes, and every time you see it, it's cha-ching, and it's the same with
Look
Kanye,
at
and it's
Nico
the same with her.
Kata, that eater guy. I don't know.
weird
Jake is
sad
just
to watch.
chiming in.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Well,
I think
Regardless.
there's something
Oh,
Yes.
he's hitting Martha Stewart. Okay.
about
hey,
that. No shame.
Regardless, we are officially running long, my darlings and my sweethearts. So, Yeah, drink the Kool-Aid, freaking sip that tea,
Yeah.
feed the trolls, or don't.
And
I
always
choose not
remember,
to.
there's two sides to every story. So as of right now, we're mainly just hearing hers.
Yeah.
And
And
also,
his story's out too, but I don't care about it.
yeah, it's like
I'm
it's like
done
whatever.
talking about this person.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, so
We're good.
I'm gonna give my closing statements on it right now.
We just made her $1,000 just
Stop
talking about
talking about it.
It's too
Jesus.
She's
late.
got 10K
It's too
viewers.
late.
She's been live for the last 6 hours.
I'm
too late.
At
ignoring
least
both of you
10K.
right now.
It's too
and
late.
I'm gonna go on with my closing statement.
You're making her more by
Consume who
ignoring her.
you choose to. Pay for things with your time and money. Like put your money where your mouth is. If you don't support someone, be actively mindful about it.
Yes.
It's
On
exactly
that,
stuff like this.
buy
And
Persona 5 on something else beside a
and
PlayStation.
you got your closing statements in a second, man. Jeez.
No,
One
because what are you
second.
going to go on them? Let's see.
And then, other than that, if you choose to, and if it's safe for you to do so, try to be social with gaming. It's still one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Yes.
Go catch a bonus round in person. Say what's up to Goon and Rena for us, and
play Final Fantasy 14.
Cool, you're
Or
going last.
or
And
Overwatch
then that's what I have. I am at Loud and Brown, also Lucky Bandit if I'm on the stage. Spitting bars on competitive gamings. I am Gross Stuff with a PH on Steam and PlayStation. Down to Dynamic Hunter Sagebell.
Hello. It's me, Sage Bell. Stop by tomorrow at 6 p.m. to my Twitch at
Nice.
Sage Bell to see if my Twitch actually works. Has stream been working for y'all to me? So at least my video to chat is working.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so there's some hope for tomorrow's stream. There's some hope because I only got 40 upload here. I'm so sad. I miss my 400, my 900.
40 upload.
40 upload.
What are you on DSL? Like, what's going on over there?
That's Comcast. It chokes you out at 40.
I wonder what I'm at.
How much to upload? I mean, how much to upgrade the package?
The upgrade package only gets you up to 60. It's not worth it. Yeah.
I saw that people were talking about how Microsoft now owns actual Fallout, and now they also have Obsidian, and they're thinking about handing it over to Obsidian because they're the original creators of it. And I said that they need to make a Fallout Portland. Fallout Portland needs to be the next Fallout game.
Yeah, we do like to be in apocalypse here during random things. I will be playing Genshin tomorrow, and then if online play does not work very well, because I was getting 200 ping playing Dead by Daylight this morning.
Jiminy Christmas.
I will likely find a solo spooky. Maybe I'll go back to Soma because it is spooky season.
Goodness.
And to the final ranter of the evening.
Hey.
Hello. Look at me up at V-Gaming and at Midlife Comics on the Twitters. If you're playing Final Fantasy, ping me on V-Gaming or on the Steam group. We'll get you all set up on the server, and I'll get your little button configs all maxed out, and I'll invite you to our guild because we're very noob friendly, or sprouts as they're called in Final Fantasy. That's about it, really. Like Lana Brown was saying, we live in a capitalistic society. Pay with your wallet. Buy Persona 5 if that game ever interested you and you don't own a PlayStation. Because for years, they released every Persona game all around it, including the spin-offs, except for that. And they finally released it. So release it on there to be like, hey, dummies, like release your games and we'll buy them. So Loud and Brown's 100% on the money. See things you like and support it, including Steam Decks. You can get those in a week now. And that's about it. Check us out next week while we ramble some more. Finn.
Cool. I think that's it.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, my darlings.
Later, y'all. Bye.